Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
For 13 seasons, Justin Verlander was synonymous with Tigers baseball. And along the way, he gave us plenty of memories, including 2 no-hitters and 183 victories in his career. Well, today the Tigers will face their old friend, Justin Verlander, on the mound. It is Game 3 in this series, featuring the Tigers and the Houston Astros. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, glad to have you with us here for the final game of the first half. The Tigers, well, they knew this day was going to come, and that day is here. They are facing Justin Verlander for the first time since last year's trade, and JV talked to us about the emotions he will feel today facing the Tigers.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Know enough of them. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it'll be a little different. I can already tell, I feel a little differently about it than a normal start. But it's not the same as if it would have been in Comerica. That's something completely different. But I'm looking forward to it.
And we bring in my partner, Rod Allen, now. Rod, there's no question there's going to be a range of emotions today for both the Tigers and especially Justin Verlander.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Justin said as much, and he's ready for their start. There's no doubt about that. He wanted to pitch here today. He could have started the All-Star game, but he elected to pitch against his former teammates. And talking to their pitching coach yesterday, he said that Justin Verlander is the most prepared pitcher that he's ever been around. And we're talking about a guy that's been in baseball for 4 decades, Brent Strom.
All right, should be fun today. The Tigers and Astros get together for the final game of the series. After a short break, to the Call Sam we go with Mickey York. Coming up, JV facing his old friends, Tigers, Astros. Game 3 next. Just some of the sights and sounds of the career of Justin Verlander over the years, now wearing a Houston uniform. And here are the numbers on the All-Star JV this season.
And Justin Verlander made his 7th All-Star team just a week ago, and he's pitching some of the best baseball he's ever pitched in his life. He checks in with an ERA of just a shade over 2, 9-4. The whip is under 1. The power fastball 96-98. His slider, his second best weapon these days. He still has the curveball and the changeup, part of his 4-pitch mix.
Here is the lineup that Verlander will face today, presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. And for the Tigers, it'll be Jones, Goodrem, and Castellanos in the top 3 spots. It'll be a Ducey batting cleanup and playing first base. John Hicks will do the catching. Ronnie Rodriguez at second base. Candelario, Iglesias, and Reyes will round out the Tigers starting 9 today for Ron Gardhire.
And let's take a look at the defensive alignment behind the former ace of the Tigers, Justin Verlander. Kemp, Springer, Reddick round out the outfield. Third to first goes Bregman, Gonzalez, Altuve, Gurriel. That's the same way they've lined up in the prior 2 games. And Max Stassi is back behind the plate after catching on Friday night.
And here we go. Verlander will go to work here against Jacoby Jones to get things started. The Tigers have dropped the first 2 games in this series. Jones, Goodrem, and Castellanos, the first Tigers hitters here in the first inning. And now Verlander's first pitch is popped up foul, back out of play. Jones in the series 1 for 7. He is 2 out of 14 on the road trip. The Tigers as a team have not scored much on this trip, nor have they hit much.
Yeah, you can tell that Verlander a little amped up. That first pitch to Jacoby Jones was 95 miles an hour. And Verlander's always been that guy that starts right around 92 to 93 with his fastball.
Another heater up top, and the count goes 1-1 on Jones. Verlander, following the trade last year, was about as money as you could get. He was 5-0 with a 1.06 ERA down the stretch for the Astros. Swing and a miss up top, and the count 1-2.
And we saw a lot of that the last time we saw Verlander in a Tiger uniform. Lots of fastballs upstairs. He's got really good 4-seam fastball, good velocity.
Now the 1-2 offering. That'll bounce low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Verlander, I'm sure, trying to fight his emotions here this afternoon, facing the Tigers for the first time as an Astro. Now, had it been at Comerica Park, it might have been a much different field.
No doubt about that. But I'm sure he had some emotions yesterday and today.
Ball up top, and Jones without chase, 3-2.
And one of the keys for the Tigers, if they are able to get some guys on base here today, you can run against Verlander. He's got that high leg kick when he does go home, and Jacoby Jones would be a perfect candidate should he reach.
And he got him, strike 3. Jones trying to coax a walk. He is caught looking for the first Verlander strikeout of the day.
Yeah, pretty much all fastballs thrown to Jacoby Jones with the exception of 1 breaking ball. And then he finished him off with 96 right down the middle.
That'll bring up Nikko Goodrem in search of his first hit in the series. And Nikko cuts and misses 0-1. .250 batting average on the year, 8 home runs. He's had a marvelous month of July, although he's been slowed a bit in this series. It'll dart low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Tigers have not gotten any breaks at all in this series. Keuchel and then Cole and now Verlander today.
And not to mention the Astros, from an offensive standpoint, one of the best teams in baseball. And they catch the baseball as well as any team in the American League. So it's a good baseball team. There's no doubt about that.
And really, there are very few breaks in the rotation for the Astros.
A.J. Hinch, the manager of the Houston Astros, in his 4th season. He's got a pretty good gig, doesn't he?
Got a good team. Won the World Series last year. Now the 1-2. Goodrem chasing up top. 97 from Verlander here in the first inning.
Well, Verlander has his foot on the gas pedal. I was talking to his pitching coach yesterday, Brent Strom, and he said just a little minor tweak that he did with Verlander in spring training has allowed the velocity with that four-seam fastball stay at 95, sometimes get up to 99 miles an hour, even though he's at the tender age of 35. Strom also called Verlander the most prepared pitcher he'd ever been around. He's been around baseball for a long time. That does not surprise me, though.
Not at all. We've seen that day in and day out back in Detroit. Castellanos skies the first one foul out of play. Bernstein advantage. Nick Castellanos, as we look at the most hits in Tigers history prior to the All-Star break, and only Cabrera and Al Kaline have more.
Well, you're talking about a couple of Hall of Famers. Of course, Mr. Kaline already in, and there's no doubt Miguel Cabrera will get there.
Swing and a miss, and the count 0-2.
Verlander throwing more sliders these days than curveballs. It used to be curveball changeups as his main secondary pitches, but he's really mastered that slide piece of the last number of years. It's a really good weapon for him these days.
Did he go? Yes, he went around. Strike three. Verlander with a nice howdy do strikes out the side here in the first. The Tigers and Stros wrapping up this series, and Francisco Liriano for the Tigers, presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And Francisco pitched in some tough luck 5 days ago in Tampa. Gave up 7 runs in that game, but probably should have only given up 3 runs. It was that wacky game inside where the ball was bouncing all over the place.
So George Springer will lead things off for the Astros here. 3 out of 8 in the series with an RBI, the center fielder for the Stros. And Springer looks at ball 1.
And the Astros, they have a pretty good idea of what Francisco will try to do today. He wore their uniform for the second half of last season, and along with Mike Fiers, got his World Series ring yesterday. Have you seen those Houston rings yet?
I asked Fiers. I haven't seen them, but I asked Fiers at the hotel yesterday and said, you know, what are they like? And he said, well, they're okay.
He was being sarcastic,
he was.
obviously.
Then he went on to say, it might be the nicest thing I own. Yeah, pretty good. That'll miss inside, and now quickly 3-0 on Springer.
That's been a problem for Francisco, the walks. Man, if he could ever just cut down the walks and limit the pitches that he throws within the inning, and he'd be a really nice performer, really consistent as he was his first 7 starts of the year for the Tigers.
In there, a strike called, 3-1.
This Astros team, they don't need any extra help as far as giving them free passes.
There was an issue yesterday with the home plate umpire by both sides, really. As the starting pitchers, Garrett Cole and Michael Fulmer, seem to be beefing all day long with Pat Hoberg, who's in third today.
Yeah.
Here's the 3-2. Line right to the shortstop, Iglesias. Starting lineup for the Astros, presented by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. You saw Springer lead things off. Here comes Alex Bregman. He'll bat second. Then Altuve. You've got Gurriel hitting cleanup. Gaddis, Gonzalez, and a bottom three of Reddick, Stassi, and Kemp. So here is Bregman now, who is 5 for 6 lifetime against Liriano. He's had a great series. He's had a great, really, month and a half. 20 home runs. Already a career high for the talented third baseman.
He made his first All-Star team as well this year. He's got over 30 doubles, 20 homers. And quietly playing some Gold Glove caliber third base. No one talks about him defensively because he's making so much noise with his bat.
Ooh, look out. Bregman skips out of the way of a ball in tight.
They're not all bad. Somebody that's as comfortable as Bregman has been for the last 6 weeks. And on top of that, Mario just told you that he's 5 for 6 against Liriano. So make him uncomfortable. Make him move his feet. But you got to make a quality pitch here now.
High and away, 3-1. So Liriano has gone to the 3-ball count in the first 2 batters of the game.
This guy's got a pretty good idea, man. He's walked more than he has struck out this year. And you don't say that about too many players at this level, especially a guy with 20 homers.
3-2. Bregman, highly touted, was the #1 prospect in baseball when he came up a couple of years ago. In 2016, he actually got his first hit as a big leaguer at Comerica Park in Detroit. 3-2. Grounded towards short. Iglesias will handle another one. 2 gone.
McLaren Health brings you the Tigers starting defense this afternoon. In the outfield, they're going to go with the youngster again, Victor Reyes. And Ron Gardenhire was saying, excuse me, that's Nikko Goodrem in left field. You got Jacoby Jones in center field, Nicholas Castellanos in right. Candelario, Iglesias, Ronnie Rodriguez, Aducey in the infield. And then you have John Hicks as the catcher. Something threw me off there.
A lot of changes today.
Yeah, but yeah.
It's been a while since Nico has played in the outfield.
It has been. Threw me off.
Altuve looks at ball 1. Nico has pretty much been playing mostly second base, with the Machado's being sent down, or DFA'd, I should say, and now Nico getting a start in left field. So again, Liriano falling behind, 2-0. Altuve in the series 3 for 7, 11-game hitting streak. He'll take ball 3. .335 this year for Altuve. We all know by now, not a very big guy, but he still has thunder in his bat. A total of 9 home runs this year.
He's going to get 200 hits again this year. He does that with regularity. He's an amazing player.
He'll take another now, 3-2.
Liriano won't throw him a strike here. Liriano has enough confidence in his breaking pitch or his changeup to throw it at this particular count to Altuve.
Third straight full count.
Slider.
Did he go? Yes, he went around, struck him out. Altuve is out of there, and despite falling behind everybody, Liriano 1-2-3 inning. Red Sox this Saturday at 6:10 p.m. The first 10,000 fans receive a Ron Gardenhire Gnome. If you'd like tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or go to tigers.com. Boston coming to town to start the second half of the year. Here is Jim Ducey to lead things off. It'll be Ducey and then Hicks and Rodriguez.
And Justin Verlander struck out the side in the first inning. Majority fastballs, 95 all the way up to 98. And a couple of really good breaking balls.
By the way, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow, and you'll get a free small order of curly fries. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Bounce straight back. 1-2 now. Verlander, Rod, pretty much been sitting 95, 6, and 7 in this game.
You know, he made a little bit of a tweak in his delivery with his arm, and it's ever so slightly. He got his arm a little closer to his ear. It was a little further away from his body, but he's gotten it closer to his ear. We'll see if we can get a good shot of it before he delivers. And because he's gotten it closer to his ear, when he delivers the baseball, he's getting much more ride on his four-seam fastball. There was a time where his wrist was kind of breaking before he delivered the ball, and it wasn't staying straight. But now he's got the really good four-seam going right now. He and Brent Strom, their pitching coach, noticed that in spring training, and Verlander made the adjustment on the fly. He's on one today, though. That much we do know.
Isn't that amazing, though? 14 years in the major leagues, and all of a sudden a tweak like that, and you've got a big change. 2-2 on a Ducey. Verlander struck out the side in the first. He got Jones, Goodrem, and Castellanos.
Verlander's always had a perfect delivery. And that's why he's been able to stay healthy.
It's a base hit. Little breaking ball there, slammed to right field, and a Ducey is aboard. As you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the whole true moment later in today's game. Tigers have their first base runner. And bring up John Hicks.
And Justin doesn't throw many ground balls. He's more of a fly ball pitcher. And if you notice, they're not shifting as much today with Verlander as they did the previous couple of days with Keuchel and Garrett Cole.
Hicks, a 4-gamer going. He is 1 for 4 in the series, starting behind the dish today. Eight home runs this year for Hicks. Verlander was the American League Pitcher of the Month in May. He got off to a really good start. So did Garrett Cole on their staff. But JV had an ERA of under 1 in the month of May, winning that award. Swing and a miss. He went top shelf that time and threw it by him.
And Justin still living with that fastball upstairs. He really started throwing that fastball upstairs last couple of years with the Tigers. And had a lot of success with it, just like a lot of other pitchers in baseball, trying to negate the launch angle swing that so many hitters have these days. And by throwing that fastball upstairs, most guys can't get their bat flat enough at the top of the strike zone to put that ball in play consistently. They'll pop it up or they'll swing right underneath it. That's why so many guys are elevating fastballs today.
Here's the 1-2. High fly ball deep into left field, way back. This ball is up and this ball is gone. It's a home run for John Hicks.
How about that?
A 2-run shot to give the Tigers the lead. Number 9 on the year for Hicks. And the Tigers score first today.
John Hicks' brother was the best man at Justin Verlander's wedding, and he gets himself a breaking ball at 86. He gets that front foot down. He was fooled a little bit, but his hand stayed back, and he flicked his wrist and hit that ball out of the ballpark. That's a big home run there for John Hicks.
Here's a slicing liner to center field off the bat of Ronnie Rodriguez, a single, and the Tigers have greeted Verlander with 3 straight hits in the second. So the 2 Virginia natives crossing paths again from the same hometown, and John Hicks wins this battle. That'll bring up Candelario. The Tigers had scored 1 run in 24 innings prior to that 2-run shot by Hicks. Another throwback, and Rodriguez gets back in there.
Verlander has a very quick move. He's always had a very quick move, especially for a right-handed power pitcher. He's picked off a lot of runners since he's been in the big leagues. But when he does go home, he's very deliberate, very slow, so you can steal a base when he does go home.
The home run allowed was the 13th for Verlander this season. Got to get Jamer's bat going. He's at 224. The break will certainly help Candelario, who's had a really rough July.
And Verlander has 33 career pickoff moves, which is tied with Johnny Cueto of the San Francisco Giants for right-handed pitchers. James Shields is number 1.
Knew he threw that one away. Rodriguez up, he'll go to second and maybe more. He's going to take the turn, coming to third. And Ronnie Rodriguez will get to third base on a 2-base throwing error by Verlander.
And nothing Gurriel over at first base could do. Verlander simply spiked that ball right in the dirt. And Ronnie Rodriguez gets up, and then once he gets close to second, he looks over to Dave Clark, the third base coach, and Dave Clark's telling him you can come over to third. Tigers got to cash this run in right here as well with nobody out. This is when Verlander was at his best in a Tigers uniform over the years when runners were in scoring position.
Swing and a miss. Infield in a couple of steps for the Astros with the runner at third now.
Very difficult if you're Ronnie Rodriguez to come home on a ground ball. You don't want to run the risk of running yourself into an out, especially a sharply hit ground ball to one of their defenders.
High towering fly ball right center field. Should be deep enough to get the run in. Catch is made by Reddick, and cruising home is Rodriguez with the 3rd run of the inning. Sac fly RBI for Candelario. The Tigers have some life on their bench today. Base is empty now with 1 out. Here is Iglesias. Jose just 1 for 10 on the road trip. Oh, 0-2. Iglesias and Victor Martinez are the only 2 Tigers that have had career at bats in the regular season against Verlander. Jose is 0 for 1. Victor 13 career hits and 4 homers against JV, but he's not in the lineup today. Now the 0-2. Got him, strike 3 with a bender that broke in, and there are 2 gone now. 4 strikeouts for Verlander.
After a couple of mid-90s fastballs to Jose Iglesias, Verlander comes back with a really good curveball at just 80 miles an hour with a really good break on it. Froze Iglesias.
Victor Reyes, swing and a miss.
Ron Gardenhire today said that he was going to start to give Victor Reyes a little bit more playing time. Says he's earned it. And they may as well take a look at him to see what they have for the future.
I think it's a really good idea based on the way he has played. His last 20-25 games, he has had really good at-bats. He's got some speed.
Good defender, too, with a good arm. That throw that he made yesterday was a great throw to home plate.
1-2 on Reyes. Tigers really didn't know what they had other than what they saw in spring training, and then the first month and a half of the year, the Tigers really didn't give Reyes all that many reps. But now that he's played on a more consistent basis, we're able to see what he's able to do.
He's considered a guy that has 5 tools. Now, whether all 5 of those tools will show up in the big leagues, it remains to be seen. But he did show 5 tools while playing in the minor leagues with the Arizona Diamondbacks. The good speed, he showed some power, good defense, he can handle the bat, and a good arm as well.
3-2 on Victor Reyes with 2 outs, 3 runs in for the Tigers. Swing and a miss, down he goes. 5 strikeouts for Verlander, but John Hicks got him. A 2-run shot to put the Tigers on top. Three-run second for the Tigers. And Liriano goes to the mound leading 3-0. It'll be Gurriel, Gaddis, and Gonzalez here in the Houston second. Liriano in that first inning went a full count on all 3 batters. He ended up getting out of the frame 1, 2, 3, but he continues to fall behind. 18 first inning pitches for Liriano. That is rolled foul. Two and 1 on Gurriel. .51 driven in this year for Gurriel. 3-1. And Gurriel, like Altuve, with an 11-game hitting streak, so he's been hot. And there's ball 4. So the Astros have their first base runner. Hey, stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game presented by McDonald's. John Hicks has an early lead for that award.
Yes, he does.
Liriano now has walked his 43rd batter.
Yeah, he's had an issue with those this season. Well, really, he's had an issue with those in his career.
Here is Evan Gattis. Check swing roller towards second, scooting over Rodriguez. One play, and that's to get the out at first. Here's our Call Sam call of the game before the ball game yesterday. Mr. Liriano and Mr. Fires received their World Series ring.
Yeah, Jeff Luhnow, the general manager and the architect of the Houston Astros championship club, and the manager, A.J. Hinch. And both out there showing their appreciation to both of those guys that helped them capture that World Series. I think it's pretty cool how they kind of wait to the guys that aren't with the club anymore until that particular player comes to the town, and then they all have like a little bit of a celebration. I mean, they can't obviously be there on opening day, but they make them feel special when they do it that way. I think it's a lot better than just sending them in the mail, don't you?
Yeah, they could easily just, you know, get them in the mail and be done with it, but it's kind of cool.
And the fans get a chance to say thank you to them as well.
That'll miss low and away to Marwin Gonzalez. 1 ball and 1 strike. Liriano appeared in 20 games all out of the bullpen last year for the Astros. Six home runs this year for Gonzalez. Had a breakout year last year. He hit 23 homers. That'll dive low and in, 2-1.
And he's got a lead here. The one thing that Francisco should try to stay away from is these fastball friendly counts. You know, because this team can't hit some homers, especially in this ballpark. And Gonzalez is one of those guys.
Tigers jumped on Verlander for 3. Astros trying to answer. Drilled to center field. That's going to be a base hit. Jacoby charging. They will hold the runner at third base. 2 on now with 1 out. Well, you can still catch the Tigers during the All-Star break. Enjoy the best games from the first half of the season one more time during our Tigers Encore, which starts tomorrow. For specific games and times, go to foxsportsdetroit.com. Well, here is Reddick now with 2 on and 1 out. Reddick has already homered in the series. He has 9 for the year. Reddick yesterday got Fulmer. Astros hit back-to-back home runs against Michael Fulmer. Ball 1.
Left-handed batters are just 5 for 55 this year against Liriano, and Reddick has not fared very well against Liriano in his career. I don't know what's going to happen this at bat, but apparently they're not looking at the analytics today, Mario. The fact that Liriano's been death on lefties, and the fact that Reddick has not done well against Liriano.
Right.
And maybe they thought it'd be a low-scoring game, and we told you yesterday he's a really good defender.
Grounded toward first. They'll tag the bag. 1 throw down to second, and a tag play for the double play. Nicely done by Francisco, who gets the big ground ball. To the Astros, the Verlander numbers have been really good, counting last year and this year.
A 1.85 earned run average in 25 starts. 22 of those starts quality starts. So he has definitely pitched outstanding for the Houston Astros.
Have you ever seen an inning-ending double play, albeit a tag play, result in a run?
I can't remember seeing that, to be honest with you.
The official score says the run has scored on the timing of when Gurriel tagged the bag, and the tag was made at second. So the Astros get a run. 3-1 is our score, and that's lined to right field. It's going to be caught in the rolling play by the right fielder, Reddick.
Well, that's why Reddick is playing today. And because his numbers aren't good against left-handers, and he doesn't have good numbers against Liriano. But Gary Pettis, their third base coach, who won a couple Gold Gloves himself, said that Reddick, by far, is their best all-around defensive player. There's GP.
He could play some deep.
Oh, my goodness.
He was.
Oh, my goodness.
It's unbelievable.
To give you an idea how good he was defensively, and you can look this up at home if you want to, he won a Gold Glove with the Tigers, and he hit 200 that year.
There you go.
He hit 210, I think, and he won a Gold Glove. And that wasn't happening back in those days. Back in those days, when they were giving out Gold Gloves, I mean, there wasn't all the metrics and all that kind of stuff. It kind of went hand in hand with what you did offensively. But he did not have a good offensive year and still won a Gold Glove and won several of them.
5 Gold Gloves for Pettis. There's a strike called on Nikko Goodrem. .210 is what Pettis hit that year that he won the Gold Glove with the Tigers in 1988. Here's the 1-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. Nikko down on strikes for the second time in this game.
Already 6 strikeouts today for Justin Verlander. He got Nikko with a breaking ball his first time up. That time a fastball. That fastball Verlander's featuring this year, man, just it looks like it's got another gear.
Here is Castellanos with 2 away. Well, Verlander finished his Tigers career second only to Mickey Lolich in career strikeouts. Well, with 6 today, is now past Bob Feller into 27th all time in the strikeout list.
He's going to get Warren Spahn today, too.
Here's the 0-1. Off the plate, 1-1 on Castellanos, who struck out in a check swing in the first inning.
I think Verlander has done enough in his career already that once he retires and he's eligible for the Hall of Fame, he's going to get in.
I think you're right. He's going to have 200 wins. He's 3 shy of that.
I mean, we used to look at the 300 win as a plateau for guys getting into the Hall of Fame, but that's done now. I think with the specialization of bullpens, you just don't have many guys finishing games and pitching as many innings as they used to back in the old days, and that's what allowed a lot of those guys to win 300. We might not ever see another 300 game winner in baseball.
And I think analytics as well are putting less and less emphasis on wins for starting pitchers. And more of the advanced metrics I think are being looked at to judge pitchers, and wins not so much anymore.
Right.
But it is a good point about the bullpens now. 6 strong is a good outing these days, where in the good old days you're out there to complete the game.
Yeah, guys are just getting loose in the 6th inning.
Swing and a miss. Castellanos strikes out. 7 of them now for Verlander. Go to the bottom of the 3rd.
heroes, because no matter where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
Astros batting now as we go to the bottom of the third. It'll be Max Stassi to lead things off. And Liriano fires strike one. Stassi, Kemp, and Springer in a 3-1 ball game. Tigers got 3 versus Verlander. And that was in the second. 2-run shot by Hicks got him going. Stassi 1 for 3 in the series. 256 on the year for the backstop of the Astros.
And there were some rumors that the Astros had some interest in Wilson Ramos, the catcher of the Tampa Bay Rays, but he went on the disabled list yesterday and with a hamstring injury.
Yan Gomes of the Indians will take his spot on the roster.
A good slide piece right there by Liriano. It's not often you see the knees buckle of a right-handed batter when a left-hander throws a slider up there, but Liriano has a good one.
Popped up behind the plate, headed back out of play. Liriano was touched for 7 runs in his last start against the Tampa Bay Rays, which is the most that he's given up this year. All of them earned runs. Swing and a miss, and Stassi's out of there, 1 gone.
Here's that play a couple of innings ago where Ducey took the ground ball and then tagged the bag and then threw the ball to second base. And you saw the tag applied there by Iglesias to Marwin Gonzalez, but not before Gurriel touched home plate, so that's why they were credited with a run. Now, had a Ducey simply gone to Iglesias first and then the throw being returned back to first base for the double play, then that run would not have scored.
In essence, the force play was taken out once the Ducey hit the bag.
Exactly.
Here's Kemp.
And if you saw Gonzalez, there was really no urgency in him getting to second base. He was basically jogging to second base after that.
One and two on Tony Kemp, 2 out of 4 in the series. Kemp at .304 this year. He's got a very good on-base percentage as well. And he'll look at a ball outside. .396 on-base percentage this year for Tony Kemp.
He's been balling, man. Not big in stature. He's only about 5'6". He's played some second base. He's playing some outfield today. He can run.
Now he's worked the count full, 3-2, and it seems like Liriano has been in this count all day. He has only 1 walk so far. Springer is on deck.
And that 1 walk came around to score. Another packed house here. They've been drawing well, and I guess you can imagine they've got a first place team. They've got a world championship team with a lot of star players.
Got him, strike 3, trying to coax a walk, and Kemp is called out. 2 away.
Yeah, real good fastball thrown by Liriano here to get strike 3. Actually, it was a slider at 86 that stayed up and in. One thing we do know about Francisco, he is fearless with that slider. He will throw that pitch in any count. And he's confident enough to know that he can throw it for a strike.
Here is Springer with 2 outs. Line to the shortstop in his first at bat. Springer this year made his 2nd All-Star game. Two 2-0. You may have heard the story that George Springer, as a youngster, had a stuttering problem, which he has since mastered, and recently held a benefit
for kids that have stuttering problems. Raising some money for awareness, and he's really become entrenched in this community now, working with the kids. And Springer has overcome the stuttering problem, and now in interviews gives them freely without any trouble. There is a strike called. He was on his way to first base as well. The crowd doesn't like it.
Bo Jackson also had a stuttering problem as well that he has gotten a lot better with. Another great player, former football player and baseball player.
That is ball 4. 2-out base runner now. We check in with Mickey York. All right, Mick, thanks. Here it is 3-1. The Tigers with the lead here. Liriano facing Bregman.
And when I heard that news of Mike Matheny getting fired, it kind of shocked me. I mean, he had a lot of success in St. Louis.
DTE Energies Know Your Own Power, the home run contestants, of which Bregman is a part of. He will represent really the only American League team represented in the home run derby. Yeah, I was kind of surprised too with the Matheny thing. I mean, they are 7.5 outs in the National League Central, but just 1 over 500.
Nowadays, really, Mario, it's all about managing the players and getting along with the players. And I was reading some stuff coming out of their clubhouse where the opposite was happening, and that's just the way it is these days. I mean, managers are going after guys that can really gel with the younger generation, because there's a lot of young players in the big leagues these days, and they're different than the guys used to be.
Well, I mean, look here, Kyle Tucker is what, 21 years old,
right? I mean, young kids are taking over the clubhouses these days. I mean, you used to look around clubhouses and you had a lot of guys, a lot of veteran players, 31, 32, 35. Now you got a lot of players 25 and under, and they're stars in the game. Look at the all-star team, for instance. You got about 15, 20 guys that are under 25 that are starring for their clubs.
Yeah. There's Tucker. They've got another great young player here in Correa, who got to the big leagues very early. Trout got to the big leagues at 19. Here's the 2-2. 3-2 now on Bregman. Altuve waiting on deck. Is the beefy part of the Houston lineup. Springer will go on 3-2. Able to get fouled back out of play. Well, to this point, Francisco has been able to sidestep all the 3-2 counts he's been in. And beyond that, all the hitters counts. 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. He's had a lot of those. There's Altuve lurking.
Yeah, but it's not the way that you want to go about your business, not for an entire day. Sooner or later, it will catch up to you.
Rolled foul. Apologize for the audio issues that we're having. 3-2 is the count on Bregman. That is 7 3-ball counts already in this game for Liriano. And another walk. Francisco issues a walk to Bregman. A pair of 2-out walks. That'll bring up Altuve. You start to get a little bit uneasy when you start walking these Astros, and now Altuve will come strolling in. And really, Liriano got the benefit of a strike called on Kemp, or he would have walked him as well.
Altuve has been outstanding this year with runners in the scoring position. His batting average is .338. They've got 3 guys in the top 10 in batting average with runners in the scoring position.
Ooh, Altuve up there hacking. A strikeout in the first inning for Jose. Top vote getter this year in the All-Star voting. Altuve is on the way to his 6th All-Star appearance. Not really the breakdown you want to see on Liriano in this inning alone. Number 28 coming up. One ball and 1 strike. Altuve has hit safely in 22 straight home games. It's the longest ever streak for an Astros player in this ballpark. Outside, 2-1. .60 pitches now for Liriano, and this will be the 30th in this inning alone. Ground ball left side. Candelario has it, and that'll end the inning. So the crisis averted. No runs, couple of walks, 2 left. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. To celebrate Tigers greats Jack Morris and Alan Trammell at a special celebration dinner on Thursday, August 9th. The Motor City Casino Hotel. Select ticket packages are available for private meet and greet and more. Tickets on sale now. Tigers.com/HOF. Verlander goes back to work now as we go to the 4th inning. It'll be Jim Adduci to lead things off. The Deuce had a single back in the 2nd. Right ahead of the homer by Hicks. 1-1. Verlander has now tied Warren Spahn for 26th all time with 7 strikeouts. already in this game. Here's the 1-1. Ducey down at AAA was hitting .309 with 44 driven in prior to his call up. Two and two, the count stays on a Ducey. But Verlander fastball still mid to upper 90s.
He's also pitching inside with that fastball. And for the most part, Verlander likes to stay away with his fastball to the left-handers and the righties. But he's gone inside a couple of times.
That'll make him move his feet. 3-2 now. He's gone full. Hicks and Ronnie Rodriguez to follow here in the Tigers' fourth. Verlander in his career has thrown 200 innings, 10 seasons, 10 separate seasons. Put up huge numbers for the Tigers, won an MVP, a Cy Young, a Rookie of the Year. Couple of no-hitters. And a Ducey down on strikes.
Let's take a look at StatCast, powered by AWS. The last time John Hicks stepped to the dish, he got a breaking ball from Verlander in the second frame and hit a two-run home run. Exit velocity not 100, but the launch angle was 30 degrees, and that allowed that baseball to travel an estimated distance of 400 feet.
Number 9 for Hicks on the season. And that was after Verlander had struck out the side of the first. The Ducey led off with a single, then the Hicks home run to the seats and left. Yet another day game for the Tigers. 49th day game. Now officially they played 50% of their games this year.
That is ridiculous.
In the daytime.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, 50%. Here's the 1-1. Of course, they had their stretch where they had what, a couple of day games in Toronto and then a couple in Wrigley.
And they always start the season at Comerica Park playing day games, no matter what.
Right. Drew Verhagen warming up. 3-1 on Hicks.
It makes you wonder if something's going on with Liriano.
Well, he's thrown 61 pitches and 31 of them balls. But he got out of that last jam. Swing and a miss. 3-2. Hicks stays alive. He's got Rodriguez waiting on deck. Verlander has faced 13 batters in this game. He's got 8 strikeouts. Make that 9. Got him looking. 2 gone.
I wanted to go back to the last time the Houston Astros traded for a Hall of Fame type pitcher at the trade deadline. That was Randy Johnson back in '98. And what Randy did in 13 starts, 10-3 with a 1.37 ERA. Verlander in his 10 starts 9-1 with a 1.66. So when they do go out and get somebody at the trade deadline, man, they go out and get a good one.
I remember that trade, and the one thing I remember is how shocked everybody was that Randy Johnson ended up in Houston.
Yeah.
Because nobody had him going to Houston.
No. And the players that Houston gave up to the Seattle Mariners were Carlos Guillen, Freddie Garcia, and John Halama. All three guys played in the big leagues, but Freddie Garcia and Carlos Guillen went on to have good big league careers, so you just never know that young player who's in A-ball, which those guys were when they were traded for Randy Johnson, how they're going to be.
Meanwhile, JV strikes out the side. He's got 10 now in the ball game. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. For tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And it's Chevy Truck Month. Bring on the new and hand down the old. Chevrolet, find new roads. Well, the Tigers have gone to the bullpen, so apparently there's been an issue with Francisco Liriano, and he is out of the game now. It's a wall-side windows pitching change. Drew Verhagen.
And Verhagen's pitched a couple of times on this road trip. He pitched 2 1/3 innings in Tampa. He also pitched here a couple of days ago, and he's pitched well. And Verhagen checks in with a lofty earned run average, but he's pitched well the last few times he's gone out there.
Ron Gardner came out between innings and told the home plate umpire Tom Woodring of the changes, and I don't know if Liriano is not feeling up to it or had an injury in the middle of the game, but the Verhagen coming on now here in the 4th inning. So 3 innings for Liriano. He did walk 2 batters in the 3rd and threw more balls than strikes in his outing today. Steve Little making adjustments on his card. Yuli Gurriel will lead things on for the Astros here in the 4th. Gurriel, Gaddis, and Gonzalez. Low back tightness, we are told now, for Mr. Liriano. The reason he has been taken out of this game. Chopper up the middle. Into center field, just out of the reach of Iglesias. Leadoff man on. They catch baseball's biggest stars for an unforgettable show from the nation's capital, the MLB All-Star Game. Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern, only on Fox or streaming live on the Fox Sports app. Gurriel now has extended his hitting streak to 12 in a row. And now here is Evan Gattis. Boy, Drew can get his ground balls, can he?
He really can. That's when he's at his best. And that's why a lot of times Brad Ausmus used to bring Drew in when there was runners on base. And Ron Gardenhire has used him that way too earlier in the season. However, Gattis is one of those guys that elevates the baseball. He's got that built-in uppercut swing. They call it launch angle these days. He's got the big long beard going too.
Verhagen came on in the 7th inning of game 1, had a 1-2-3 inning with 2 ground ball outs and a strikeout.
Good slider there. Gattis struggles with the breaking balls, the pitches that are east and west. He does not struggle with fastballs. Fastballs north and south, up and down in the strike zone. He does not struggle with those, but he does struggle with that breaking ball.
Swing and a miss, up top and in, struck him out.
Another breaking ball. That one was hanging, and Gattis swung right underneath of it. That's a perfect example right there, Mario, of the breaking ball negating that launch angle swing. That's why so many guys do throw that curveball, and you saw an example there. The curveball comes up there, and you swing right underneath that curveball. Fastballs are a little bit easier with that timing mechanism of the launch angle. That's why curveball has been a big pitch the last couple of years in baseball.
Gonzalez rolls one back up the middle into center. Base hit. Gurriel hits the bag at second. He'll go to third, and another ball that just gets through the Tigers infield.
We've seen a lot of balls get through the infield here. I'm wondering if this dirt is harder than a lot of the other dirts because they've got so many guys that hit the ball so well and a lot of line drive hitters. But that thing scooted through the infield. Looked like when it left his bat, Ronnie had a chance to catch it.
On both of the base hits in this inning off the bat, it appeared to be not routine plays, but makeable plays. And now here is Josh Reddick. Tigers lead 3-1 here in the 4th.
Even though the Tigers have a ground ball pitcher on the mound, they elect to shift with Reddick in the batter's box and 1 out.
Reddick hit into a double play to end the 2nd, but the Astros got a run in. Big hole left side of the infield. Fouled away. 95 from Verhagen, and now the count is 0-2. Reddick a few years back was a big home run guy. He had 32 with the A's in 2012.
It's a good low ball hitter. You might want to attack him up top with a fastball.
Hunter breaks from first. Throw down to second is going to be in time. They'll tag the runner out. Holding at third is Gurriel.
Thank you very much. That was a gift out there. They tried to catch the Tigers sleeping. A lot of times when that guy takes off from first base, the catcher won't even throw the ball 2 seconds. He'll simply hold it, and then that's a free stolen base for that base runner. But John Hicks elected to throw the ball down there. Nice pick by Iglesias. Applied the tag to Gonzalez, and the Tigers are in business with 2 outs now.
Pretty good pick down there by Iglesias.
Yeah, it was.
Ooh, that's going to go to the backstop, and it's going to score a run. So they give him a run right back.
They've really given him 2 gift runs today.
Wild pitch. Three to 2 ball game. Two and 2 on Reddick. Grounded to the right side. Iglesias will cruise over. and throw Reddick out. That'll be a 6-3 ground out. The run scores to make it 3-2. And Verlander back to the hill for the Astros.
Justin Verlander, through the first 4 frames of this afternoon's contest, has 10 strikeouts. He's gotten a few of the strikeouts on the breaking ball. He's gotten majority on the fastball. The fastball's been explosive. It's gotten up to 98 miles an hour. Tigers did tack him for a 3 spot in the second, though.
There's a high drive into right field and way back, going to the track, going to the wall, and gone. It's out of here. Jamer Candelario put a charge into that one, and the Tigers score another. He's got a couple of RBIs today. He got all of that one. Four to 2, the second Tiger homer of the day.
And first pitch fastball. Right down the middle. Real nice, short, quick, compact swing by Jamer. And Jamer was able to lift it out of here. Josh Reddick trying to climb the wall and bring it back.
Hicks and Candelario with Tigers homers. Ball 1 to Iglesias. Candy came in batting just 125 here in the month of July. He's got a couple driven in, had a sac fly in the second. He's elevated both of his at-bats against Verlander, but that one left. Justin retired 9 straight prior to that Candelario homer. Popped up, shallow center field. Springer comes charging in, and Iglesias is out. Last chance from now until 11:59 p.m. tonight. Purchase any July or August University Days ticket package for just $29, courtesy of Fox Sports Detroit. All packages include a mezzanine ticket, FSD Detroit Days themed hat, and a $5 donation. Tigers.com/summer break for more info. Reyes struck out in the second. Justin Fan 10 through 4 innings. The 0-1. swing and a miss, and Reyes strikes out again. That is 11 now for Verlander. Going back to college now with Nissan as Jacoby Jones walks in. We talked about his LSU ties and all the players in this series from LSU.
And Jacoby Jones actually played 1 year with Alex Bregman. And Mikey Matuk also spent some time there. He and Jacoby played together 1 year as well. Lewis Coleman went there as well, and Will Harris. So the LSU Tigers are well represented in the stadium today.
Jones is 0 for 2.
Josh Reddick made a really nice play on Jacoby Jones his last time up.
Oh, 2 on Jones. Verlander's career high is 14 strikeouts. He's got 11 right now. He's done that 3 times. All with the Tigers. And a strike called. Got him looking for strikeout number 12 on the year. Justin, on the game, I should say. Verlander gives up a run on the Candy homer, though. More challenge and more dingers than ever before. Enter the code ALLSTARDC to unlock exclusive All-Star gear at MLB.com/HRD game. Tigers get a run back of the Candelario homer. Back up by 2 now. 4-2 is our score as Max Stassi leads it off against Drew Verhagen.
Hey, good to see Candelario with a couple of really good at-bats. Ron Gardenhire dropped him down to the bottom of the order a couple of days ago, and it seemed to relax Jamer.
Back up the middle. It's going to be backhanded by Rodriguez, who will throw him out. Let's bring in Johnny Kane.
All right, fellas. You know, Houston is known for its many restaurants, so we decided we wanted to go out and try one of them. Bernie's Burger Bus here in Houston. They feature a hamburger that they call the detention. It's a couple of burgers slapped and smothered in cheese, and then of course the kicker is that the buns are not just regular buns, they are toasted bacon grilled cheese buns. I'm telling you, this thing stood about 7 inches high, if not more, but we were able to take that sucker down. And we want to say thanks to Ashley Walters, who actually her mom suggested that. through Twitter. So we went out there and accepted the challenge, but not for the faint of heart, guys. I can tell you that much.
How many calories was in that thing, Johnny?
They were ballparking somewhere around 2,000, which, as you might imagine, would be
that's your daily allotment.
That's your daily. But as they say, different individuals have different daily needs. You know, so that's why we came back out here to our favorite spot, Torchy's. You know, after we took that down, I did not have a meal for the next 25 hours. But we came out here to Torchy's Tacos, and we got a trailer park out here.
That's bounced up the middle on the backhand there. Rodriguez throws him out. I understand, Johnny, that most people use a fork and a knife to try and take that thing down. You just went right at it, didn't you?
Well, nobody suggested it.
Oh.
I saw the knife. I didn't see a fork there, but I'll tell you, that was one of the toughest challenges that we've faced, certainly. And you remember Torchy's? Remember last year they've got the fried chicken inside the tortilla here, pico de gallo, and then you get it extra trashy, right? You get queso on top. So this will be the last one.
Apparently you're hungry again. Good job. Torchy, oh, look out. It's getting all over the place. Right on that suit.
All over the microphone.
Up and into Springer. Johnny K. There's a bender that drops low, and now Verhagen throws his arms out, wanting to know where that pitch was.
And John Hicks apologizing right now for Verhagen.
Yeah, that's pretty demonstrative.
Yeah, he was apologizing. He didn't mean that. He
no,
he didn't mean that. Don't take it personal.
3-0 on Springer.
He'll pay back there. He missed the one, he gave him the other one.
Walking a line out for Springer in this game. Big swing there.
And George doesn't get cheated. He's got some serious pop in his bat.
34 home runs last year for Springer.
And a lot of those leading off a game. He's one of those guys that puts their team on the board in the very first inning with a big fly on many nights. I don't know if he'll go with that 95-mile-per-hour fastball or he'll come back with a breaking ball. Breaking ball, get a swing and miss.
Swing and a miss.
There it is.
1-2-3 inning.
You know, I think as far as a pure baseball decision, you know, I think it was a pretty clear cut yes. If you were just thinking baseball. But when you're thinking, what I kind of started in Detroit and the relationship I had created with the fans there, all that stuff matters to me. And, I wanted to, you've seen horror stories of how some athletes that were prominent in cities bowed out in not the right fashion, and it didn't come across well to their fans, and I didn't want to do that to the Detroit fans.
Well, it was a late decision last year at the deadline, and Verlander accepted the trade to Houston. Boy, did it work out for him.
Well, he accepted the trade nearly minutes before the deadline. Minutes.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that I don't know if they win the World Series without him.
I agree with that 100%. They don't win it. And if you're the Yankees and those other teams, the Cubs, that had a chance to get him too, you're probably kicking yourself at the fact that you didn't come after him a little harder. It didn't look like he was going to get traded, to be honest with you.
I thought it was, as the minutes wore on, not going to happen.
I think what happened in Houston, though, they became so disgruntled, their players, because they had a good team and Verlander was out there and they really needed another starting pitcher. But when they finally pulled the trigger, they had to give up their best prospects, but they got a Hall of Fame pitcher. I was talking to Brent Strom, their pitching coach today, Mario, yesterday. He told me that Verlander, he comes into the pitcher's meeting with the catcher and he holds the meeting. Usually it's the pitching coach telling them what they're going to do that day. He told me all he does is sit back and let Verlander do all the talking, and he's telling the catcher what he wants the catcher to do. So he forms his own game plan.
Fouled back out of play by Goodrem.
I mean, usually it's the catcher that's doing all the study, then the catcher's got all the notes, then the catcher kind of talks to the pitcher how we're going to go about things, but Verlander's not having any of that.
He's had, from what we understand, a pretty good effect on Garrett Cole as well. There's Brent Strom, the venerable pitching coach for the Astros. High towering drive to right field. The Tigers have hit their third home run of the game.
Yes, they have.
A solo shot from Nikko Goodrem. Hicks, Candelario, and now Nikko, and it's 5-2 Tigers. That ball was a towering blast off the bat of Nikko. First time Verlander's given up 3 bombs in a year.
Two breaking balls hit for home runs and 1 fastball. Yeah, Goodrem and Hicks got the breaking balls, and Candelario hit a fastball out.
Justin Verlander was the headliner coming into this game, but the Tigers have something for him. They have a 5-2 lead. Goodrem's home run, his 9th of the year.
The Tigers hitters said all the right things leading up to this game, but trust me, the competitive nature in them, collectively in that clubhouse, when they found out that Justin Verlander is passing up the All-Star game because he wanted to pitch to them, they took it personal.
Nick is out of there, 1 gone. Let's bring in Johnny Kane.
To Justin Verlander for a moment. We had an opportunity to talk with him and ask him what he misses most about Detroit. And he said, Detroit summers. I said, how much have you changed since, the World Championship of a year ago? He said, honestly, it's been a whirlwind. He said, I have a wedding ring. I have a World Championship ring now. And, of course, as we found out just earlier this week, that he's going to be a father for the first time. So a lot going on for Justin Verlander since he last pitched in Detroit, that's for sure.
There's a high drive into deep left field. Back to the track, to the wall. He looks up, and that ball is gone. An opposite field home run. Gibadusi joins the party, and the Tigers are pouring it on Verlander.
They're beating on Verlander like he stole something. An opposite field home run by Gibadusi. The ball is flying out of here this afternoon.
That is a 4-homer game for the Tigers, and here is Hicks, who hit a 2-run shot early. This is a weird game for Verlander. He has struck out 12 in this game, but he's given up 4 homers. And Adduci has his first in the big leagues this season. Crowd a little bit stunned as well. They're used to seeing Verlander dominate. But it's a 6-2 game.
Yeah, you can hear a pin drop in this place.
Going to put a bite into Verlander's ERA as well. It was 2.05 coming in. Bouncing ball towards second. That'll be an easy play for Altuve. 2 gone. 4-run game now for the Tigers.
And last time Verlander gave up 4 homers in a game, you have to go back to his nemesis, and that would be the Cleveland Indians. In 2016, June of 2016, he gave up 4 home runs to the Cleveland Indians.
We'll bring up Ronnie Rodriguez now with 2 outs. On the ground to the shortstop. Gonzalez has it there. Ronnie is out. That'll end the inning. Tigers tack on 2 more big flies from Nikko and Adduci. From the first half this season, one more time during our Tigers Encore. It'll start tomorrow. For specific game times, please visit Tigers or FoxSportsDetroit.com. FoxSportsDetroit.com for more info on that. Now Verhagen back to the hill as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Tigers enjoying a 6-2 lead. Bregman will lead things off here for the Astros. He'll pop it up. First base side to Adduci. Verhagen came on in the 4th inning after Liriano left with back tightness. Gave up a run on a wild pitch, but after that, a 1-2-3 fifth, and now he's retired Bregman here in the 6th. Here's Altuve. Three for 9 in the series for Altuve, who's got that 22-game home hitting streak on the line here today.
Yeah, Verhagen has looked good since coming in. As a matter of fact, he's looked good in all 3 of his appearances since coming back.
Will Harris warming up in the Stros pen. Strikeout on the ground now for Altuve. Liriano threw 61 pitches before departing. Popped up. Foul ground. Who wants it? It'll be Hicks, who stays with it nicely. 2 gone. We'll bring up Yuli Gurriel. On base 2 more times in this game. Gurriel with a walk and a single and a run scored. Yuli spent 15 years playing in Cuba, also some time in Japan as well.
His father was an outstanding baseball player, along with his younger brother, who plays for the Toronto Blue Jays. And a good baseball family.
Right back to the mound, and Verhagen will have a 1-2-3 6th inning. We'll go to the 7th here at Minute Maid. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank could be. Come to Comerica, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows, we can do that. We are the factory. Well, the Tigers have a lead now as we go to the 7th inning, and it's a 6-2 ball game. 4 home runs off Verlander, who will depart the scene 91 pitches in the game tonight or today, and Will Harris will take over. And Candelario looks at a strike called. Wallside Windows pitching change with Harris on.
Yeah, Will Harris has 2 pitches. He's got a cut fastball. He throws that about 60% of the time, and when not throwing that, he's got a curveball. So cutter curveball in his 2-pitch mix.
Breaking ball missing outside. Big day for Candy. 2 RBIs, including a homer off Verlander. Bouncing ball. Nice play by Bregman at third. 1 away. That'll bring up Iglesias. I think you said it best, Rod, about an inning ago, and all of the talk about Verlander not pitching in the All-Star game, and I think the Tigers hitters did take a little bit offense to that.
Well, I mean, he made it publicly known that he wanted to face the Tigers, because we heard that, and I know they heard it down in their clubhouse. And as good as he is, I mean, you just give a team like the Tigers that extra incentive, and they performed today. Verlander performed too. He punched out 12. He pitched well, but he also gave up 4 home runs because guys really battled against him today. I mean, Verlander basically gave up starting the All-Star game on Tuesday for this start here today.
Right.
I mean, he's having the best year of most guys in the American League. I mean, Chris Sale could be a candidate, but he could have started the game because their manager is the manager of the team.
Iglesias could not hold up. Well, the Tigers got him for 4 home runs, but he did strike out 12 in his 6 innings of work, as Wilson now is 2 up.
3 of the 4 homers that Verlander did give up today came on the breaking ball.
Chopped slowly towards short. Gonzalez going to have to hurry. Just down by half a step. Two away now for Victor Reyes. It is another example, though, of how you just never know in this game. I mean, you really don't. The Tigers came in scoring 1 run in the previous 23 innings and appear to be overmatched today on paper, but not so. Reyes glad Verlander's out of the game. He fanned twice against him. Should Reyes reach, Jones on deck. Bouncer towards second. Altuve. Harris comes down for a 1-2-3 inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch.
True moment. The Tigers with 4 homers today against Justin Verlander. John Hicks got it going very early against Justin Verlander. That was a 2-run shot. The other 3 are solo shots. Candelario, and then you've got Goodrem and also a Ducey playing long ball today against Justin Verlander.
Well, with all these home runs, somebody's getting some points here, and Ram picked the stick. Here is our update, and the big winner so far, Mickey York with John Hicks. He's got 6 so far in this game. You know, all the punch outs as well has been taking some points away from Verlander, but oh well. Anyway, you know, coming into this game, Rod, we've talked about it, how Justin Verlander was the headliner. Everybody talked about JV's first start against the Tigers, and Tigers pretty much said, we got something for you.
Yeah, and they did. I mean, he came out, he punched out the side in the very first inning, and then that second inning, they busted him in the mouth. John Hicks hit that breaking ball out of the ballpark, and I think that kind of gave the Tigers dugout some infusion of energy, and then they just went on to have some quality at-bats against Verlander, even though he's punching out a lot of guys.
Would you make a little today? The ball stiffness, you could tell early on he just didn't have it.
Well, I mean, one of the things with Liriano, I mean, you know he's going to be a high pitch count, but he did look like he was a little out of whack out there today. But it's good for them getting him out of there, because Verhagen came in and did marvelous work, and looks like Verhagen's going to get a win today.
Well, I think also Candelario having a good game is important for this Tigers team, because going forward in the second half, they need him to be like he was the first 2 months.
Well, I think Ron Gardenhire took some pressure off of him when he called him into his office. I believe it was 2 days ago, and he put him down that number 8 spot and allowed him to relax a little bit. And because of that, he's had some quality at-bats. He's not at the top of the order trying to do too much, and I think it bodes well for Liriano. I mean, for Candelario.
Well, Wallside Windows pitching change now. It's going to be Alex Wilson coming on.
Yeah, Alex has a lot of family and friends here in attendance. I saw him at the hotel holding court with all of his family members, so this is a special time for him to come in and get himself a hold and help the Tigers win the game here today.
I was checking out of the hotel this morning, and Wilson was on the in line next to me, and he walked up the desk and said, "I'm checking out for the Wilson party."
There's a bunch of them.
Apparently they had a few.
Yeah.
The Wilson party.
Yeah, he had a few of them here.
And ball low and away to Gaddis.
When you're the big man on campus, you're the big leaguer. I mean, you got to foot most of the bill.
He threw the credit card out there. So.
He got one of the black ones like you got.
No, I don't know. I don't have the black card. Nope. Gaddis looks at a strike on the outer edge. Now 1-2 on Evan Gaddis. Strikeout and a ground out for Gaddis in this game. Wilson becomes the 3rd Tigers pitcher. 3 good innings for Verhagen. Ripped down the line. It's a foul ball. Just ahead of that pitch.
And we told you that Gaddis will swing and miss at breaking balls, but you've got to get that breaking ball about a foot off the plate. He's had a difficult time with that. He doesn't miss his fastball. He's got a lot of power, too.
Really not a whole lot going on for the Astros today. Two and two now with the count on Gaddis, Gonzalez, and Reddick to follow. Home run for Gaddis yesterday. He was in an 0 for 19 skid, and then he homered against Fulmer. Tigers trying to get to the break with a victory here this afternoon. Popped up. Third base side, Candelario in foul ground. Gaddis is out. Well, here are the potential starters and notables who could be starting for the All-Star game in our Wallside Windows upcoming matchups of both National and the American League.
Well, I'd have to believe that Max Scherzer is going to get the start in his own ballpark. I mean, 2-time Cy Young. Is he 2-time Cy Young or 3-time?
I believe 2.
2-time Cy Young Award winner. He won it last year. We know he'll get the ball. The American League, maybe Chris Sale, Severino. A couple of different options. You can't go wrong either way.
Marwin Gonzalez, the hitter, and he will look at a strike. We stand corrected, 3-time Cy Young winner.
3 times. How about that, man?
2013 with the Tigers, and then 2
3-time Cy Young Award winner.
with the Nationals.
Goodness. Turned himself into
A monster.
if not the best right-hander in the game. He's top 2 or 3.
He's got 3 Cy Youngs and 2, make it 5 top 5 finishes.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, he's been there every year. And Gonzalez waves right through it. Reddick is on deck. I remember when Max got to the big leagues, so many scouts would say that his max effort delivery would eventually make him break down.
I think that's why the Arizona Diamondbacks traded him to the Detroit Tigers. They felt like he'd break down at some point in time.
Pulled foul.
But the guy that drafted Max, Mike Rizzo, is the general manager of the Washington Nationals. And when Max became a free agent, he jumped at the opportunity to sign Max, because he was so familiar with him from his college days at Missouri when he scouted him.
Up the middle, Candelario ranging left. 2 gone. That is 9 straight retired now by the Tigers bullpen. Let's bring up Josh Reddick. Reddick was at the plate when Verhagen threw a wild pitch back in the 4th, allowing a run to score. The Astros not many scoring chances today, while the Tigers have hit 4 home runs.
And a little bit of a different shift here, and the reason for that is Reddick can handle the bat. And so Candy stays home, I'm thinking, until they get 2 strikes. And then once they get 2 strikes on Reddick, you might see Candelario move a little bit closer to the shortstop position. We'll see.
Stassi on deck. Should Reddick reach? Chopper to the right side. On the backhand, it's Rodriguez who throws him out. 1-2-3 inning. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. tightness and a strange day for Verlander. 12 strikeouts, 4 home runs allowed. Only 5 times since 1920 has that happened.
How about that?
So there you go. Got a wall side windows change now. Colin Mchugh coming on.
Yeah, Mchugh is having a really good year. I mean, the numbers kind of speak for themselves. A 0.99 earned run average, 59 strikeouts. He's only walked 10. And the league is hitting 147 against Colin. He's got a fastball on the top side at 94. He also has a cutter, a slider, a curveball, and a changeup. So he's got 5 pitches out of the bullpen.
Top of the order coming up. It'll be Jones, then Goodrem and Castellanos here in the Tigers' 8th. Bender drops in for a strike, 1-1.
And the thing about Mchugh, he will throw all those pitches at a pretty high percentage. He only throws about 47% with his fastball. The other 50% he uses everything.
Driven deep to right field, to the track, to the wall, and caught. Right at the wall by Reddick. 1 gone.
And Nikko Goodrem, one of the 4 Tigers to homer here today against Justin Verlander. And that was a breaking ball that Nikko Goodrem hit out of the ballpark. That would be our Xfinity high-speed pitch. Here's all the velocities of the home runs that Verlander gave up today. 2 on fastballs, 2 on breaking balls.
Just off the plate outside. 2-0 on Goodrem. Nikko's homer number 9. (11 of 14). You sit safely in here in the month of July. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Run around. 2-2 on Goodrem. A start in left field today for Nikko. He'll shoot one the other way in a soft line, and it's hauled in by Bregman.
One of the things that Ron Gardenhire said last week when we were in Tampa, he said even though it looks like Nikko is going to get the majority of the reps at second base, he still would like to move him around a little bit because he can play different positions, and that allows him to get other guys involved in the offense instead of just having Nikko play one spot.
Keep him sharp at other areas too. 2 gone now for Castellanos. Nick is 0 for 3, and he will look at a ball outside.
It's not often that Nicholas goes 0 for 3, but Verlander was tough on him. He punched him out his first 2 times up, and Verlander punched out a couple of guys twice today. It'll be interesting to hear if Verlander says anything about his emotions and going on this game against his former team, a team that he spent 13 years with. I don't think he'll make any excuses, but I'm wondering if it had some kind of an emotional effect on him today.
I would think it did as Jimenez warms up for the Tigers. I mean, human nature in itself would get you amped up for this game. And, you know, we talked about it earlier. His fastball was, what, 95, 96 in the first 2 innings?
Yep. Well, first pitch of the game was 95, and that's not usually Verlander. He's usually 92, 93.
Castellanos strikes out for the 3rd time today. Tigers go 1-2-3 in the 8th. Joe Jimenez is heading to Washington, D.C., and he is the 9th reliever in Tigers history to make the All-Star team. And well, Roddy had a really good first half, and it's good to see Joe get an opportunity. First Tigers pitcher age 23 and younger to make the All-Star team since the Bird.
When you look at where he came from last year at the end of the season, and then to come into spring training and win a job and then make an All-Star team, it's remarkable. There's no doubt about that.
Well, he took his lumps last year. He worked extremely hard in the offseason. Here are the numbers on Jimenez.
279 earned run average, 13 holds, 45 games. He's punched out 47.
You know, in the offseason, the Hurricanes ravaged his hometown in Puerto Rico, and his family said, you might as well just stay in the States, work out there, continue to get better. There's really no reason to come home right now, and they decided to have Joe stick around. He really worked his tail off.
Yeah, he was in Lakeland the entire offseason.
Kyle Tucker batting for Stassi.
Joe carries himself like he's been in the big leagues too, man, for a number of years. I mean, he doesn't really walk around like he's a rookie. I mean, he's got a lot of confidence. I guess when you got that kind of stuff, you can have some confidence too.
And his size too.
Yeah.
He's a big guy walking around the clubhouse. He is a little bit quiet, and that's why I think that, you know, he looks like he belongs. Been around a while, it seems. But he's still very young.
He's got 3 pitches. And a fastball, a couple different fastballs, and a breaking ball and a changeup. There was a breaking ball. And Jimenez also showed that he could close a game or two when Green was on the disabled list.
Swing and a miss, and he blew Tucker away. One gone. We bring in Johnny Kane.
Yeah, guys, I asked Joe Jimenez how close he was to being the type of big leaguer he envisioned as a kid. And he said, there's a lot of things yet to accomplish. It's starting now. Obviously, I'm looking forward to having a great career, and I'm going to work hard for it. But he said there are a lot of things and a lot of dreams that he has in mind that he still wants to accomplish. As for the All-Star game, looking forward to being around some of his fellow Puerto Ricans. And, of course, last year's Tigers All-Star representative Michael Fulmer, his advice to him was go to everything. Go to the home run derby, sit it out, go to the after parties, really savor it all. Fulmer didn't get an opportunity to pitch in last year's game, but he said for him it was more about meeting the players, building the relationships. He said experience everything you can. Don't take a moment for granted, because this is a dream.
Ball belted in the air to right field. That one going to the track and run down by Reyes. Victor stayed with it. 2 gone.
Yeah, Kemp hit that ball about as far as he could hit one. He did homer the other night here, though. They say in that Oakland series, as we get one more look at Victor Reyes making that play in right, they say that Kemp hit one right over the 315 sign down the left field line. It's the shortest home run hit in the ballpark this year.
Why you got to throw him under the bus?
Well,
like
that's what they said.
Dude's got 3 long balls, and one just crawled over the fence.
Yeah.
Homer's a homer.
Yeah, it is.
Springer the batter now with 2 outs. He walked in the 3rd.
Can you imagine Joe Jimenez when he walks into that American League clubhouse, though, with all the talent that's going to be in that place? And he's going to be in there with an all-star uniform on.
You'll be able to watch Joe in the All-Star game Tuesday on Fox.
Their pitching staff alone is incredibly talented.
Here's the 0-2. Little bouncer. Shortstop side. Iggy throws out Springer. 1-2-3-8. Couple of home run hitters coming up. Adducey and Hicks will lead things off in the 9th. All right, guys, it is 6-2, and Tony Sipp is on here now as we go to the 9th inning. The left-hander facing Jim Adduci.
Sipp's got really good numbers against left-handers. Well, he's got good numbers overall. And pitching in his 27th game, the ERA just a tick over 2. He's walked 8, he's punched down 23, and the whip is under 1. 34 years old is Tony Sipp. He was one of those guys, man, if I remember correctly, man, he was like a 50th round draft choice or something.
Yeah, he was real late.
I mean, way late.
Fedorovich has come on to catch. And Adduci looks at a ball low. Did he check? He did not. He struck out.
Menards brings you the big money encounter. John Hicks is the one that got it going today for the Tigers. It came in the 2nd inning. And Mickey York in the studio predicted that John Hicks would be the one that got a big hit today against Justin Verlander. He took him and picked the stick for that very reason.
Great. We're all excited for Mickey. Yay, Mickey.
Give Mick a little love. Give
He
him a little
deserved
love.
it. Yeah,
Love,
he made a great pick.
He might as well re-rack exactly what he said in the post-game show. He didn't even have to talk and pick the stick today. Just re-rack what he said earlier.
1 gone now for Hicks. And extended his hitting streak, by the way, to 5 in a row for Big John. We continue to have some problems with our audio. We apologize for the technical issues we've had. 45th round pick, right?
It was 45th?
Yep, of the Indians.
Yep, looking for it. And they talk about odds being against you.
So big time odds.
And here he is. He's been in the big leagues, and he's probably got 10 years in now.
Yeah, because he's been around since 09. This is Sipp's 10th year. And away on front is Hicks.
What's that, 14 strikeouts today for Tigers?
Verlander at 12. Yep, no, 15, right?
Ooh, wow. He's had a good day. Caught a really good game.
Ronnie Rodriguez now with 2 outs. Ball 1. Shane Green is tuning up in the Tigers pen.
Will not be a save situation for Shane Green, but he needs to work. He also worked an inning yesterday.
Gardy wanted to get both Green and Jimenez in these last couple of days because with the All-Star break now, Joe might pitch in the All-Star game, but Green will be off. You don't want guys sitting around for that 4-game break and then having 2 or 3 days off before the break.
Yeah, he'll have to do shuffle his rotation and also coming out of the All-Star break to make sure guys don't get too lengthy of a time off.
Two and 1 the count, and Ronnie Rodriguez has singled in 3 at-bats. Ronnie also scoring a run. This one started like it might be some trouble for the Tigers. Verlander struck out the side in the 1st inning, and you and I were looking at each other going,
yep.
Oh boy.
He's got that look on his face.
Yeah.
That look that we saw so many times in a Tigers uniform.
Then the Tigers opened the 2nd with 3 straight hits, including a 2-run shot by Hicks, and that changed everything. Matthew Boyd will pitch game 1 out of the break against David Price of the Red Sox. Sox coming to town for a 3-game set out of the All-Star break. 3-2 on Rodriguez.
And Tigers will also see Chris Sale in that series against Michael Fulmer on that Sunday. TBA for the Boston Red Sox on that Saturday. There will be a game played this coming Thursday, however, Mar. Remember how it used to be dark on Thursdays? Everybody had a day off on that Thursday?
Right. Yeah.
But this year, the Cardinals and the Cubs will play on Thursday. So those two teams only get the 3 days off.
That, I believe, is a makeup game.
You sure?
No, I'm being told it's a makeup game.
I thought that they
really
Major League Baseball instituted where there's going to be a game every Thursday out of the All-Star break. Not a makeup game.
Swing and a miss, and Rodriguez is out of there. Sip strikes out the side. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Here in Houston, Tigers leading 6-2, and Menards brings you the big money encounter. Here are the best records of the American League this season. Boston leading the way right now with 67 wins.
Yeah.
Yankees, Houston right on up there.
You got three teams that are on pace to win over 100 games.
Well, speaking of those Red Sox, they're coming to Detroit Friday, July 20th through Sunday the 22nd. Great seats still on sale right now. Get them by calling 866-66-TIGER or go to tigers.com. It'll be the only visit for the Red Sox to Comerica Park this year. Shane Green is on now to try and get the final 3 outs.
And 41st game for Shane. He's the Tigers closer. He has 19 saves and 22 chances. And 43 strikeouts for the right-hander, 11 base on balls. Green's got a fastball that will get up to 96. He's got a nice little breaking ball as well. Tigers seeing Justin Verlander here, and then right after the break is over, they get a chance to see their old buddy JD Martinez.
Drilled to left field, and that ball will get down, go up against the wall, and bounce away from Goodrem. Bregman on his way to second, pulls in with a double to get it started here for the Astros in the ninth.
It'd be nice to see Green strand that run out there, because his issues for the most part this year have not come in save situations. They've pretty much come in situations where he's out there in a non-save situation. That was a bullet off the wall. Nikko Goodrem, and by the time he picked it up, Bregman scooting into second base with another double.
Well, Green facing the top of the lineup here for the Astros. Now Bregman, after the double, will face Altuve. Altuve is 0 for 3. Altuve trying to keep his hitting streak going. And he'll look at a strike from Green, 0-1. Tigers have action. Stump the lefty, Coleman the righty.
Gardner ain't messing around.
No.
You don't usually see the guys get up that quickly when the closer's out there.
You got the closer out there in a 4-run lead. And the bullpen getting hot. That'll miss slowing away. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, you kind of get where Gardner is at. I mean, you're not going to let this one get away.
Not a chance.
You've got to win this game. Guys are be flying all over the country today. You want guys to leave here with a good taste in their mouth.
Here's the 1-1 to Altuve. Oh, look out. He dusted him and down he goes. Up at his chin.
Fans don't like it. That two-seam fastball got away from Shane Green.
Gurriel waiting on deck. Leadoff double by Bregman here in the 9th. Fouled away. 2-2 on Altuve. Tigers 6 runs, 6 hits. Astros 2 runs, 4 hits. Tigers trying to win a game today in which they have struck out 16 times.
That does not happen very often.
It's a season high for the Tigers offense, yet they've hit 4 homers. Now 3-2 on Altuve.
And we know what that man right there does with runners in scoring position. Nobody in baseball is better than Yuli Gurriel. He's over 400. The guy in the batter's box is not too shabby himself. He's about 335.
High fly ball, right center field. Hit well, going to the wall and caught by Reyes. Bregman will move up, 1 gone.
Good base running there by Bregman. He realized quickly that that ball was going to be caught, and then he was able to get back to the bag and tag up to get over to third base.
Let's bring up Yuli Gurriel. 450 this year with men in scoring position.
Is that good?
Probably beyond good.
How do you hit 450 with runners in scoring position for the entire season?
It's like the end of July here.
He's got a lot of at-bats, nearly 100 at-bats, too.
Single and a walk in this game. Gurriel strokes one to right center field. Jacoby is on the run, and there are 2 gone.
That's how he does it right there, Mario. He goes to the plate, and those 15 years in Cuba that he played national baseball, he doesn't panic. He just puts a really good swing on it, and more often than not, he barrels it up when runners are in scoring positions.
Got an RBI.
Some of the Tigers hitters will get there sooner or later. Sorry about that.
Sac fly makes it 6-3. That's where the Tigers want to see their hitters get to. Having quality at bats with a chance to drive in a run. And now here is Gaddis with 2 outs. The RBI for Gurriel, his 52nd. Breaking in for a strike, 0-1 on Gaddis. to center field for Jones, and that will end the ball game. The Tigers will finish the first half beating Justin Verlander and the Astros today. 6-3 your final score.
Today was a great win. Absolute great win.
Now we'll send you to the Call Sam Studios, Mickey York with Tigers Live postgame.